You want to dance, you want to shake, bless you, chop the rice and banana. I go do my best, chop the do and banga. Nothing else that do. Shall you go love for the manata? Somebody, I love my life, I love my life, I love my life. I'm on that Diana make you always so. Do your own, make I do my own. Them mama, them papa, and I don't want to pass. I know one trouble, brother. From my heart, I wish you well. And you will go turn up the party. Go short
Your Excellencies, Royal Highnesses, distinguished members of the Religious Society, distinguished members of the Academic Society, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is, of course, to the glory of God Almighty we are gathered this wonderful day to celebrate an icon, to celebrate the milestone he has achieved all through his life, and has decided to put all the details of his life in a book to reference the future of our world. My name is Adaka, and I would like to welcome all of you to this wonderful celebration, a one presentation of the autobiography of our father, friend, colleague, a man who has distinguished himself in all spheres of human existence. We are glad to be here. The Center for Population and Environmental Development, CPED, has called upon all of us to come witness the noble presentation of the autobiography of Emeritus Professor Andrew Godwin, Onokerhoraye, a distinguished officer of the Niger. I was expecting a round of applause for that. Without much further ado, because we understand your time is so precious, today is Saturday, you will have quite enough need for your time to be with your family and of course other ideals for today. It is not within the course of this organization to bore you with so many talk, especially at this beginning. As we move on with the program, more talks to the good of mankind will ensue. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am one of the anchors for this wonderful occasion, and it is with all due humility and respect I do this. To help pilot all the various affairs for today, I would like to recognize and bring to the microphone a man who I respect so much, a man whose desire is to see the need and good of humanity, an astute speaker, a seasoned orator of the great University of Benin. Please make welcome Professor Eddie Erakwe.
Thank you, co-compare for this morning stroke afternoon. Good morning, Royal Highnesses here present, Your Excellencies, our esteemed emeritus professors of the University of Benin, former vice chancellors, former distinguished senator of the Federal Republic, and of growing under their tutelage, and I'm still seeing them bubbly, so agile, 70 plus and all. It's a team we must thank God. Please, let's praise the Lord by way of a resounding applause to God Almighty. And so, my own prof here, Bishop Osadolo, knows that dear Ragbe is standing behind the mic here in the month of April is definitely by the special grace of God. I have not stopped thanking God. And just to say, many may be asking, see not the Eddie they said was sick not too long ago. The truth is that just a few months ago, I was more over there than here. It was by the grace of God that I got back to this world again, and I'm standing before you. And so, without wasting time, we want to quickly first constitute the high table, and then, as he has mentioned, so many names, that was why they were passing, because this is a foreign-based organization, so organized, where Emeritus Professor Onokerhoraye has been in charge. I was so surprised for the first time in my life as moving to parties and programs. I discovered, and I was joking, special cards were provided for the drivers that brought people to this occasion. And when I saw the card for their meals, I now asked the person I said, are you sure I will not want to stay with these people? And that is to say, this is a well-organized program. Please, let's clap for this great body that has put together this program. And so, without wasting time, we are blessed to have here with us a great professor of the University of Benin, who eventually, by way of being a global professor, moved to another university, that is our own Delta State University, Delsu, where he served and was elevated, recognized, and performed as the Vice Chancellor of that university. Not only did he live as a Vice Chancellor, he was now conferred with the esteemed position of an Emeritus Professor. And is the man that has been brought here today with his ever elegant wife. And we are talking of our own Emeritus Professor, Eric A. Arubaye, former Vice Chancellor of Delta State University, Abraka, and the wife who is there always radiating with him today to be the chairman of this occasion. So you're welcome, sir and ma'am. God bless. And very quickly, we also have here with us another great son. This is royalty personified, who is presiding over a part of the dukedoms as far as this kingdom is concerned. And that is in the person, looking to my left, looking to my right, members of the family. So we just take some few recognitions for that, and after that we move on.
Thank you very much, Prof. In no due order, please permit me to do some of this recognition. I would like to respectfully acknowledge in our midst the Vice Chancellor of Edo State University, Uzare, Engineer Professor E.O. Aloyo. Please make welcome. Thank you very much. It is important to also note that we have in our midst the immediate Vice Chancellor of UNIBEN, Professor and Mrs. Osasere Oromuse. Please kindly make welcome. Of the great University of Benin, we have with us Emeritus Prof. Bob Osaze. Please make welcome. We'll try to do this as quick as possible so that we can move into other items for today. We do not want to bore you with so many, but intermittently we'll be having this recognition of noble personality. I would like to recognize in our midst
of higher in Delta State, Honorable Professor from the University of Benin to UBTH, Professor Austin Onokerhoraye. Thank you, Prof, for being here. And we have here also Honorable Justice Otabo Olubo, OFR, and the wife, Professor Mrs. Rosalie Olubo, former President, Customary Court of Appeal, Edo State. You're welcome, the Honorable Justice. We also have here Professor Alibo Onokerhoraye of the University of Benin. Prof, you're welcome. And the man who is to take the podium not too long from now, a professor of biochemistry, and by way of taking the podium is inaugural, we are welcoming specially Professor and Dr. Mrs. N.P. Okoye. Thank you for being here. And one of the icons of the University of Benin, men that when they spoke then, you know that they were the movers and shakers. He's still here with us. We must welcome specially our own professor of economics, Professor S.E.N. Oku. Please, let's welcome Professor Oku. And before I go on, I must recognize my daddy and a great emeritus professor. He's here with the wife, Professor Mrs. We're talking of emeritus professor and Professor Mrs. T.O.K. Audu, the Duke of the Dukedom. The Duke, you're welcome, sir. We also have here Professor, because you're going to be hearing them, Professor. And if you overhear them, you might even become a professor today. And so we're welcoming here another great professor. Please, let's welcome him all the way. He said he must come down to be part of this program. And then, of course, Professor Monday Ohi Asikia. Please don't be angry. As I have said, the former head of the Department of Geography and Regional Planning, ex-head also of the University of Benin. I think that Asikia I just mentioned, very humble man, We were deans together. While I was Dean of Arts, he was the Dean of the Faculty of Social Sciences. Professor Asiki, once again, you are welcome. And so, be assured, I saw so many people when I was sitting there, former vice chancellors that came in, their names are not here. I will write them out properly and then do more of the recognition. But before we make this a recognition party and all, let us try and start the program, and then we will move on from there. And so, at this time, I'm supposed to formally now introduce the chairman of this occasion, and then we will be taking the opening prayers, and we are blessed to have great men of God, when you have the likes of our own Vicar General of the whole state here of Yagaus is here by himself, and we're having the likes of our own grandfather, Obinya is here. You know, this occasion, the acting executive director of CPEB.
Address. Please make welcome.
Your Excellency, the Governor of Delta State, ably represented by Professor the chairman of this occasion, Emeritus Professor Onokerhoraye, the chairman Board of Trustees of CPED, Professor Williams Akposhafo, honorable other members that are present, we thank you for being here, and we say you are welcome. Former serving vice chancellors and principal officers of universities that are here present, we welcome you all. Emeritus professors here present, His Royal Highnesses here present, other professors and staff of various academic institutions, Emeritus Professor Andrew Godwin Onokerhoraye. This event is not only to commemorate the remarkable journey of a distinguished social and environmental scientist, but it also symbolizes the culmination of years of dedication, passion, and invaluable contribution to the fields of academia and research. This autobiography is a testament to the power of dedication, perseverance, and the pursuit of knowledge in the face of challenges. Emeritus Professor Andrew Godwin Onokerhoraye, born on July 7, 1945, is a distinguished social and environmental scientist with special interest in action research. He served as the Vice Chancellor of the University of Benin between 1992 to 1998 and has been the Executive Director of CPED for the past 10 years. Professor Onokerhoraye, a visionary leader and beacon of inspiration, has not only steered CPED with unwavering commitment, but has also pioneered groundbreaking research initiatives that have shaped the discourse on population and environmental development in Nigeria and beyond. Under his leadership, CPED has established itself as a major think tank in Nigeria, attracting research funding from various donors and implementing over 50 donor-funded research projects. His tireless efforts have laid the foundation for a legacy that will endure for generations to come. We are privileged to have Emeritus Professor Onokerhoraye, the former Vice Chancellor of Delta State University, Abraka, as the chairman of this event. Prof, you are welcome. We also extend our gratitude to Professor Friday Okonofa, the pioneer Vice Chancellor of the University of Medical Sciences, Ondo City,
of the University of Benin. Please, let's welcome her. and also the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic of the University of Benin, of Pharmacy, of course, Professor Ray Ozolwa. We are happy to have you here with us. And of course, sitting here, I mentioned his name earlier, we have the former Chief Whip of the 4th Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999. And we're talking of distinguished Senator and Lady R.O.S. Owe KSJI. Thank you so much for being here with us. Another former professor, I don't know, there's nothing like retired professor. Professor is professor. We have him from the University of Benin, engineer, great he was, Professor James Asalo. Prof, again, thank you for being here. From Western Delta University, Professor of Geology, Professor Godwin Osa Aswen, thank you for being here. And this man, he knows, and he's the one that joined them to call me Eddie the Boy. And they refuse to recognize and see the man now. But he's the original, the man himself in the University of Benin. I know you all know him. We're talking of Professor Jean Omasheye. He's here again. The man himself, former Dean of Education in the University of Benin. We also have here a great lady, and we're talking of Professor Mrs. Rachel Kende Egareva of the University of Benin, Professor of Agriculture. Prof, thank you for being here. We also have here a retired, but from University of Benin, Professor Festus Alohan. Thank you for being with us. And then, of course, Venerable Professor and Dr. Mrs. Mon Wadiani. God bless you for being here. One of those great men that influenced my life. He made me a dean while I was at Benson in Idausa University, and even made me, I may not be a VC, but one time I was signing and standing as acting vice chancellor, even though it was for like 2-3 days. Who said I don't be acting vice chancellor before? And so we're talking of the former vice chancellor of Benson in Idausa University, ever handsome, Professor MacDonald Idu of the University of Benin. Thank you for being here. And then the former director of consultancy UNIBEN, former dean, School of Postgraduate Studies, Benson Idausa University, and is here, professor. And we must also recognize the wife in her own right, because she was the librarian of the University of Benin at the time, talking of Professor and Mrs. Bamdele Sani. Thank you for being here again with us. A great lady, a professor in her own right. Her husband some years ago was with us, but God has taken him and is resting in his bosom. We are having here with us Professor Mrs. Bridget Ogono. Bro, thank you for being here. And then my own brother, now many may not know, a professor of law, one of the great administrators University of Benin was privileged to have. We are having here with us Professor and Mrs. Godwin L. Umoru, now of Igbinedion University, full-serving professor of law. And then we have here former vice, is a serving vice chancellor. Sorry, this name just got to us from the University of Benin, but it's right now with Western Delta University. We have here with us Professor and Professor Mrs. Ikelegbe. Thank you, of Delta University there. And then we have Professor Sir, and of course you know his own is a special Sir. And he's here Andrew C. Ugu, who always will say that he's a co-Andrew, a rare privilege. And he's here with the wife, and that is Professor Lady Esther Ugu, both of the University of Benin. Thank you for being here. The director of SGD programs, SDG programs, University of Benin is here, Professor Mrs. Ujero Igbodu. And then Professor Mrs. Antonia Clark, Mommy, former President CWO, St. Albert's Catholic Church. Thank you for being here. Another professor is here with the wife, Professor FEQ. Thank you. My brother, another former Dean, School of Dentistry, University of Benin, Professor B.O. Shahid is here. And of course, a retired professor of pediatric surgery, who had the privilege, I was privileged that one of my daughters, he took care of her when she was a little baby. That one is now a practicing doctor as well. Professor and Mrs. Ewonwan, thank you for being here. A brother in the knighthood of St. Mulumba. We have here very strong and the bosom friend of our Professor Emeritus today, Professor, and they are always talking together, and Reverend Father will say, "When I stop talking for church." We are talking of Professor and Mrs. Linus Jokweri, with the student when I talk for church. And so we also have here present Professor Mrs. Regina Agenta. Thank you. And then before I get the query, I had the privilege of working with him in the University of Benin. He's here with the wife, and we are well pleased to have here with us Professor and Mrs. Oronwese. Prof and VC Emeritus, thank you for being here with us for this program. The lady herself, former Registrar University of Benin, still very active now with ITV and others. She's here with the husband. They are working together, Sir and Lady Eddie Celerina Ojomo. Thank you for being here. So they are carrying away my papers now so that we can move on with the program, and in another brief minute so we're going to take more recognitions. So just before I do that, we want to thank you for being here. We're talking of Professor, Sir, and Lady Iwu, Christopher Iwu. Thank you for being here. And so, Mr. Chairman, sir, I think you will have to, cameraman, can you get to him over there so that they all see him? Sir, you want to move over here, Prof. Emeritus? Anyway, he's still bouncing. So please come over, sir. All right. Where are the ushers? Where are those people that used to hold your speech and papers? We have here former Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, great professor, political science, a magnet and a great man from Delta State, one of the fathers of the state, Professor Sam Oyoare is also here. Prof, thank you so much for being here.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think I will stand on already existing protocol. Before I commence my speech, I will crave your indulgence to spend about 1 minute to honor one of us who ought to have been here with us but passed on in 2023. That is the person of Professor Gideon Omuta. Please, if you don't mind, let's rise to give him his honor. May his gentle mind rest in perfect peace. First of all, I have to say that Professor Emeritus Professor Andrew Godwin Onokerhoraye is somebody that I've known for several years ago. In short, he is my mentor, and even while I was the Vice Chancellor, I always consulted with him because he was really an encyclopedia of administration. I would say that I was a lecturer too in the University of Benin when he joined us from NISA of the University of Ibadan in 1980 as a senior lecturer. Then my office was not too far from him. As my mentor, most of the time, if you don't find me in my office, I will be in his office. And if you don't find him in his office, he was also in my office. So we were that very close. But I must say that after joining us in the University of Benin in 1980, within 2 years, first, after 1 year, he became an associate professor. And after another year, he became a full-fledged professor. Because I've been hearing Uniben, Uniben, Uniben. I'm still part of Uniben. But I migrated away from Uniben to Delta State University. But I still relate very well with my colleagues in Uniben. Professor Andrew Onokerhoraye later became the 5th Vice Chancellor of University of Benin. I must add here that I was also the 5th Vice Chancellor of Delta State University. It's not that I was competing with him, but it's just by nature. And that number 5, to those of you who are religious, stands for grace. It is by his grace that he became the 5th Vice Chancellor of University of Benin, and also my humble self, the 5th Vice Chancellor of Delta State University. I would say that we have both been involved in consultancies. Almost every year, we travel to the Middle East together, consulting for several organizations. But for COVID, I know we would have gone again several times, even up to this year. We continue to be very close, the family is very close, and he is always very, very generous. Even in spite of his generosity, he doesn't play with his religion. And that is something that I like about him. He has pulled me closer to God. And I know he's not a reverend father, because I don't want to say he's a reverend father, because the wife will say, why are you calling my husband a reverend father? But I will say that he has really always lean back on him and fall back on him to guide as we get older. I'm not younger either, but I know that he's much older than myself. We are celebrating today the presentation of his autobiography. Yesterday, we celebrated the presentation of the book I mentioned earlier on the hot seat. And today's celebration is not going to be the last. I know that. Because our birthdays are in July. And come July this year, I pray we'll be celebrating again. Then he will be 80 years of age. So, on that note, I want to say, enjoy your stay. And my coming here today, I'm so happy, because it's like a reunion. There are many of you that I've not seen for several years. And some that I've seen, they are still looking very, very strong. And I pray that they continue to look stronger every day that I've seen.
And all my life you have been so good. With every breath that I...
Please, let's give another round of applause to our Chairman. Thank you. The point that caught my attention among the very sound presentations by our chairman is the fact of the resonating institution, the University of Benin. By matter of fact, is that in this area, Delta, South, anywhere, University of Benin, we have been so privileged that even most of the vice chancellors in those institutions around us, University of Benin has supplied. So we really are proud of what the great University of Benin has been doing around here. So we now, I'm going to now come to my formal role for today, but while I step out, the co-anchor will help to take some more recognition. For less than 10 minutes or 5 right back here. So, but just before I do that, I have here sitting royalty. He was with us, Exchequer, University of Benin. Many of you who have passed through there. Please, it's a privilege to have former bossa of the University of Benin. We also have here retired Vice Chancellor of the Freeman Services, where many of us have been. Is here with us, Dr. and Mrs. Anthony Akamaguna. Thank you for being here. And we have here, sir, and then the wife was a former commissioner of police, but you will not always know, but you are protected. We are talking of sir and Lady E.N. Ubebo, KSJI. Thank you for being here with us. And then we have the CMO, former CMO President at Albert. We are talking of our own Cleo, Paul Omoregbe, JP. Thank you for coming. And then retired Deputy Vice Chancellor, Igbenedion University, Okada. Retired Founding Dean, School of Clinical Medicine, Igbenedion University. And of course, as I have said, DVC of that university, Professor and Mrs. Lawrence Chidozie. Thank you for being here. A former Deputy Vice Chancellor under Professor Onokerhoraye, and immediate past Dean, School of Postgraduate Studies, University of Benin. That is DVC Academy, and I'm happy to announce that also here with us is Professor Felix Okieme. He's here with us at this program. Professor and Mrs. Cyril Mokwenye. Thank you, my own great brother, for being here. We have here Dr. Lionel Ihenye, and he's of course a private practitioner, but it's a CMD in his own right. He was former MD Federal Psychiatric Hospital here in Uselu, Dr. and Dr. Mrs. Lionel and Olabisi Ihenye. Thank you for coming. And then the former Bossa, Western Delta University, he never visited EFCC. We are happy to have him here. Dr. Simon Kayode, thank you for coming. And then from UBTH, thank you, Dr. Mrs. Udigie, Are Bodi Broderick's Chief, the Onukun of Agmo. Chief, sir, you are welcome. And then, of course, these are the last three I will call before I move on and I will be back. We want to recognize one of the great Unibank and BIU, former Dean, Clinical Sciences, College of Medical Sciences, BIU, Professor Stefina Igedosa. She's here with us also. My sister, Professor of Law and of International Repute, Professor Nkolika Aniku, she's also here. And then this man, you know him so well. Many of you must have been seeing him on television even before he became a professor of law. And he calls himself his own professor. You must put PhD when you finish. I'm talking of no other than the Oman himself, Richard Idubo, Professor PhD from the formerly of University of Benin, and of course is now of Igbenedion University. Thank you. And then he gave his valedictory lecture some weeks ago. Former Director, IPAS, University of Benin, is here by the special grace of God. Professor and Mrs. Wangweze Achime, they are also here. I'm sure that Professor Onokerhoraye Emeritus say, you mean all these people are here? Oga, you can put people anytime. So we welcome all of you, and as I have said, I want to just take a bow briefly while the MC will continue with one of the recognitions, and in just 5 minutes, I'll be here to carry on with the next item on the program. Thank you again. Please clap for Eddie Rugby. That guy is still a try. God bless you.
I think that clap is not enough for Professor Eddie Iragbe. Please put your hands together for him. You can attest to the level of his versatile knowledge about many of us in the academics. Thank you very much, sir. God bless you. He has other function to portray today. The next item of the program is the introduction of the book, and the book presenter will be coming very shortly. I am not fitting enough, so to speak, to invite him, so we'll once again invite Professor Eddie Iragbe to come forward and do a citation. But before he comes, permit me to warmly and respectfully recognize some of our distinguished personalities gathered here. Like I stated earlier, it is not in any particular order. We recognize you and we are most grateful that you are here to celebrate with our warm celebrant today. So quickly, of the University of Benin Teaching Hospital, we have with us the Assistant Director of Administration, Dr. Henry Ebo, Department of Political Science, Dr. Egwere Ogeneruna. Sir, you are highly welcome. Please put your hands together for him. Quickly, we have with us Dr. Stephen S.C. Kekege. He is of the Ikege Literary Studies, a lecturer of the Department of Writing. Please, let's get this quickly. But he's from the Delta State University. Abraka, sir, you are highly welcome. Please forgive us for that. Kindly come. Just let's get the corrections. Also of the great University of Benin, the DVC Ekewan campus, we have with us Professor B.A. Aide. Please make welcome. Sir, you are highly welcome. While we await Professor Eddie Iragbe to come do the citation of the book presenter, I will just quickly make just two recognition and I'll come forward to do the brief citation of the book presenter. We are blessed to have with us distinguished Knight of the Knighthood of St. John International, Nigeria, Sir and Lady Solomon Obekeme, KSJI. Please put your hands together for her. We have with us, ladies and gentlemen, a former Provost College of Education in Kadalo, Emeritus Professor and Mrs. Raymond Ilaho. Please a round of applause for them, please. Thank you so much. I would now like to respectfully pave way and go to my corner and invite my Oga, a distinguished professor of the great University of Benin, to kindly come forward to do the citation for the book presenter. Please put your hands together again for Professor Eddie Iragbe.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, chairman of this occasion, the man for whom this day has been specially set aside, please, pardon, and then we have been collecting names. We are trying to capture them as many as we can. And please, if is at any time we come here, we can. Mr. Chairman, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's indeed now. They say you should please come this way, sir. But you can't be too sure of how long they can stand, though. They said it can stand for a long period. So, Mr. Chairman, this elegant, intimidating-looking, handsome man that we have before us is no other than Professor Friday Udage Okonofa, who is a professor of obstetrics and gynecology, the center leader of the African Center of Excellence in Reproductive Health, SERI, and the coordinator of the World Bank projects at the University of Benin. He was the pioneer vice chancellor of the first University of Medical Sciences in Ondo City, Ondo State of Nigeria, from March 10th, 2015 to March 9th, 2020. He attended the Anglican Grammar School, Ekpoma, and Edo College, Benin City, before proceeding to the University of Ife, now Obafemi Awolowo University, OAU. He was in the pioneer medical class at Ife, where he obtained BSc on second-class honors upper degree in division degree in health sciences in 1975, and MB-CHB in medicine in 1978. He has a PhD in international public health from the Karolinska Institute, the Nobel Prize awarding institute in Sweden. He enrolled in the West African and Nigerian postgraduate training colleges in obstetrics and gynecology, graduating in 1984 and 1985 respectively. He took up appointment as lecturer in obstetrics and gynecology at the OAU in January of 1986, where he rose rapidly to the rank of professor in October 1992 within a period of 6 years. At Ife, he was acting head of department and acting dean of the Faculty of Medicine. He transferred his services to the University of Benin in July 1996, where he has been head of the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology, dean of the Faculty, School of Medicine, and the provost of the College of Medical Sciences, and a member of the Governing Council of the Great University of Benin. Professor Onokerhoraye is a fellow ad Udum of the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, the Nigerian Academy of Science, the African Academy of Sciences, the International College of Surgeons, the Nigerian Academy of Medical Fellows, the Takimi Fellowship of Harvard University, United States, and the Nigerian Academy of Medicine. He has served as the executive director of the International Federation of Gynecology and Obstetrics, and as honorary advisor on health to President Olusegun Obasanjo of Nigeria. He is the founder of the Women's Health and Action Research Center, WAC, and the founding editor of the African Journal of Reproductive Health, that was voted the best journal in Nigeria by the National Universities Commission, NUC, in 2015, quote, that meets international standards. He is the lead recipient of 52 international research grants from the Ford Foundation, MacArthur Foundation, Lucille and David Packard Foundation, the Population Foundation, the World Health Organization, the Canadian International Development Research Center, the World Bank, the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, and United Nations Fund for Population Activities, among others, which means that Professor Okonofoa lives in dollars and pound sterling, although he doesn't have them to share around. He is the center leader of the African Center of Excellence in Reproductive Health Innovation, CERI, which was awarded to the University of Benin in 2014 by the World Bank after a competitive grant application. The grant was renewed in 2019 after an assessment of its high effectiveness by the World Bank for a further 4 years on ICPD 25 by the UNFPA, New York, a member of the High-Level Commission on ICPD of the UNFPA, and he currently serves as a member of the Global Advisory Body of the UNFPA New York office. As Foundation Vice Chancellor of the University of Medical Sciences, he led the university with due diligence, patriotic insight, honesty, and transparency that resulted in the institution being recognized both nationally and internationally. Some of his key accomplishments at UNIMED include the establishment of 16 foundational courses in the university, the full accreditation of the mature courses by the National Universities Commission and professional accreditation bodies, resource mobilization from individuals and organizations, as well as the receipt of funds from the Friends of UNIMED Fund, which he established in 2016, and with which he built an ultra-modern faculty of medical rehabilitation in the university in 2020, and grants from international agencies for academic and infrastructural development of the university. He also led a peaceful administration. After all, he can demonstrate as well. He also led a peaceful administration such that there was no strike action by students or staff during the tenure as Vice Chancellor. Indeed, to his credit, the university produced its set of graduates in basic medical sciences within 3 years of students' enrollment, with medical and dental students graduating within 6 years of founding the university. In addition, within 2 years of his tenure as the pioneer Vice Chancellor, he was able to complete the due processes that enabled the university to be listed as a beneficiary institution by TEP Fund. Consequently, TEP Fund in 2019, allocations for infrastructure and academic development of the university, a development that has opened more gateways for the university. Indeed, during the 2019 call for applications for the 2019 National Research Fund, NRF, by TEP Fund, 3 out of the 7 proposals submitted by the university were awarded by TEP Fund, which was a groundbreaking achievement for a new university. Mr. Chairman, this naturally intimidating man, a natural big man in composure, an academic accomplisher, a man of unprecedented fundraising capabilities, a man of transparency, accountability, dependability, consciousness as he stands. This man is a proud son of Ewu Kingdom, an Esan man who, although knew how to do Igbabonelimi in times gone by, it is doubtful whether he can still Igbabonalize at this moment. But with us, we are privileged to have with us here a man that plays table tennis, who when he smashes the ball, it's so hard that the ball returns to the opponent, even without the opponent hitting back at the ball. This man is happily married and is blessed with children, and is the one who today we are privileged to call upon to do a presentation of this remarkable book that has been put together, titled The Riches of His Grace. So I have present to you Professor our own Friday, who was born on a Friday, Ebodage, which means the world see this great man, Okonokehoraye. Let him do his presentation. Thank you and God bless you.
Members of the media, he's been my friend for several years. Today, I am being asked to review the book written by one of Nigeria's most phenomenal academic icons. Last year, when he approached me and told me that he wants me to review this book, I was so scared. I went back to the mirror to look at myself again. Is it me he was talking about? So, sir, I want to first thank you for considering me worthy to present this book. Because I know that, you have a lot of respect for me, but I have higher respect and adoration for you. So, today, we are worshiping Professor Andrew Godwin Onokerhoraye, an academic giant, a teacher, a researcher, and one of the best and most profound university administrators I've ever had. And if you go to him and say you have a problem in university, he will tell you a story of how he handled it when he was in university. That's how he does these things. I know most of you know that fact. So, and I'm very happy, I'm grateful that you allowed me to review this book. I read it from very beginning to the very end, and I learned a lot of lessons. Professor Emeritus A.G. Onokerhoraye is not only my mentor, he has been my advisor over many years, he has been my key promoter, he is an intellectual powerhouse, an advisor to most academics in the university system. So don't be surprised you are seeing professors all over the place today. Someone that we have learned from in many ways. An arbitrator that helps to harmonize and resolve matters relating to university administration. He suffered in CPED, has been described as the Aso Rock of intellectual and professional discourse. Of no mean other. So if you need some explanation, that will be explained. So who therefore is our dear Professor Andrew Onokerhoraye? Most of this he didn't say in his book, because I think he was quite humble. But before I go and dive into niceties of the book, for those of you who don't know how we think he is, or what we think he is, Professor A.G. Onokerhoraye is a distinguished professor emeritus, geography and regional planning at the University of Benin. The fifth very high-performing vice chancellor of the University of Benin, potentiator, advisor, and chairman of several governing councils of several Nigerian universities. A researcher extraordinary, and founder of Nigeria's foremost research NGO, the Center for Population and Environmental Development. A visionary for Nigeria's accelerated development. A professor of professors, and a professor of vice chancellors, and a vice chancellor of vice chancellors. He's a mentor to many of us, those of us in Nigeria's foremost institution. To more policymakers, if you read the book, you see number of policymakers he has advised. To political actors, and indeed to many social change agents. Barrister Guinea is here, and many times I see Billy talking on TV, and I simply wonder whether it was Onokerhoraye that taught him all of these things. So, the 67 and 96-page book itself, if you see it, you feel it intimidated because it's quite big. So when they brought it to my house and said I should review it, I said, this is terrible. But it was published by Safari Books Limited, a very glossy, hard, and there are 5 reasons he gave. One, that God's grace in all his things that happened to him in life, and he's a very deeply religious man. I showed you everywhere. The remote environment in which he was born, and the difficulties he experienced in starting and continuing school. These days we think that going to school is a matter of joke, but in those days it was tough. Supporting the support from others that enabled him to go to school. We are going to talk about those people later on. His marriage to his ever beautiful Josephine, the blessing and love of his life. The good friends he had who helped him in many ways. Many of you are seated here today. And I was impressed that in a book chapter, he narrated all his friends, mentioned them one by one. I will try and again tell you who these friends were. His retirement at the age of 65 and his founding of CPED. Now 78, by the way, he's going to be 79 in July, judging by the fact that he was born in 1945, not going to be 80. So his long life could only have been a blessing. And if you see him strong, and you could play attentive, you see him strong moving all over the place, at the age of 76 and 77, you know that God has actually blessed him good life. So, let me tell you my reflection on being asked to review the book. First, sir, I feel honored to be the reviewer of this book from amongst your many friends and social admirers. I mean, looking at professors sitting down here, all of them capable. So I was wondering how he chose me, but God, thank you very much for allowing me to do, for giving me this honor today. That I have done today, if I didn't come to the University of Benin, maybe it would be otherwise. Whatever anybody can see that Friday Okonofa has done, Professor Ragwe was saying all those things. They can only be attributed to Professor A.G. Onokerhoraye, who brought me from Ife to. Thank you very much, sir. So, what are the objectives of this review? It's a big book. The objectives are twofold. One, to summarize the contents of the book in a very systematic way, so that when you are reading it, it becomes easy. And then secondly, to understand how a man that had such very meager beginning came to play a preeminent and unforgettable role in Nigeria's educational system. It's a lesson for us, and I wish there was. His mother was Mama Onokerhoraye, who was from Kokori, also in Delta State. Indeed, our dear Prof was from a polygamous family. His father having married 2 other wives aside from his mother. So although he's ethnically an Urhobo man, which he was often very proud to say throughout the book, he did not actually, the initial upbringing today, he was brought up and born and lived his early life in Okitipupa, in today's central part of Ondo State, southwest Nigeria. He was born on July 7, 1945, which makes him 78 plus years today, meaning about 79. So in July 7, 1924, I believe he will be 79 years, and next year he will be celebrating his 80th birthday. And God has given him so much strength and power that I can pray for him that the 28th birthday will be very phenomenally celebrated. By the way, Prof was born the same year the Second World War ended, and at a time of severe scarcity and poverty. You know, there's something they call baby boom period. Baby boom period. The people who are born after the Second World War are called baby boomers. Because after the Second World War, there was a lot of fertility increased and people were being born. So, Prof was not lucky to be a good baby boomer. He was rather a veteran, as described in terms of job. The only hospital in Ondo then was about 80 kilometers from where he lived in Okitipupa. The father migrated there from Ishokolo to Okitipupa, and was, very well welcomed. But where he lived in Okitipupa, the next hospital was about 80 kilometers away. So when his mother was pregnant, the mother did not receive antenatal care. Like I imagine those of us who are gynecologists, we mean not receive antenatal care. And so when it came for the mother to give birth, only a traditional birth attendant. Today, we discourage people from going for traditional birth attendants. And people like Professor Onokerhoraye will easily tell us, you tell us not to go to traditional birth, but I will deliver by traditional birth attendant. When they tell me that, I remember when I was arguing that today we no longer want traditional birth attendant to deliver us because they cannot manage complications when some complications occur. They will tell me some of them were born by traditional birth attendants. And if someone like Professor Onokerhoraye were to come out to say he was delivered by a traditional birth attendant, then I would be flabbergasted. My case will lose its point. But I was not born by a traditional birth attendant. That is the difference between me and him, sir. I was delivered by Dr. Christopher Okoji at Zuma Memorial Hospital, of which I'm very proud. Consequently, when the time came for his mother to deliver him, only a traditional birth attendant that lived just about a few kilometers from where he resided could be consulted. However, before the mother could arrive at the home of the traditional birth attendant, was delivered along a pathway. Ladies and gentlemen, as a gynecologist and obstetrician, I will let you know that this method of delivery featured prominently in those days. And because of its unskilled nature, many of the babies born at that time did not survive. A large number of them died in the process of being delivered by traditional maintenance. Today we have a great professor here, strong and alive, which actually epitomizes how God brought him to this world. So, the circumstances of his early life. The mother had 2 boys before him, and they both died. So there was already fear that he too might not survive. And the mother carried out so many interventions, including native marks and native divinations. All of us had that. If you grew up around that period and you didn't visit a native doctor, and you say you didn't visit a native doctor, I will say you are not saying to tell us the truth. These experiences probably resulted in what he later turned out to be: a strong, fearless man, able to handle the many vicissitudes of life. He told the story of how his father had intended to give him the name Hitler because he was born soon after the Civil War, or Second World War. Hitler. But ladies and gentlemen, the intervention of his older brother, I do hope he's here today, was the one who changed the name from Hitler to Godwin. So why his baptismal name was Andrew? So popularly we advise us A.G. Onokerhoraye, A.G. Onokerhoraye, because those two always go together. And as a matter of fact, our friends, we started calling him Onox because Onokerhoraye was so tall, long for us to pronounce. So if you are truly the friend of him, you call him Onox. His early school life, due to his repeated illnesses and the fear that he might be traumatized at school by the mother, our dear Andrew did not begin primary school until 1953. One was then 9 years old. Something that we will not think of these days. These days, our children start school at 3 years. But Prof started school at 9 years. And despite the fact he started school, as a matter of fact, I think I saw some reason why people should start late. Because it progressed so fast and rapidly. Because it was mature at the time he went to school. He started his primary school in Infant 1 at the St. John's Catholic School in Onokerhoraye. And this period, he learned arithmetic, English, reading, writing, and education. And he also offered him the opportunity for Catholic upbringing and discipline. And I still wonder, throughout the book, Professor Onokerhoraye did not depart from his religious confusion with Catholicism. And it's no wonder that today he's one of the most ardent Catholics that I know in this country. His performance at school was astonishing. He was very brilliant in primary school, which ended in double promotion from Infant 1 to Standard 1. Those days, those nomenclature, those of you that will know what those nomenclature meant. He was given double promotion. He passed his first school leaving certificate conducted by the Western Regional Ministry of Education in Ibadan in 1958 when he was in primary 6. He was then 13 years old. So he completed primary school at the age of 13. Transition to secondary school then became a problem, as his parents were not able to pay for the common entrance examinations into those schools. I want to say that I want to thank Mr. Awere. He's one of his teachers who was convinced that he would do well in secondary school, that he was able to obtain funds to pay for examinations into secondary school. His attempt to go to secondary school, true to expectation, are dear Onox. Sir, I hope you don't mind if I call you Onox. passed the entrance examination into several outstanding colleges at the time. Government College, Uweli, Robo College, Efu, St. Joseph College, Ondo, and St. Patrick's College. These are the best colleges in the world. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, due to paucity of funds and his inability to obtain scholarship at that time, he was not able to enter any of these prestigious colleges. When they fizzled out model school, his mother was only able to obtain funds through which he enrolled in a modern school, Catholic secondary modern school in Okotopa. And I want to explain, because some of the younger ones may not know what modern school is. Modern schools were intermediary schools established by Chief Obafemi Awolowo, blessed memory. At the time, for those who could not attend secondary school, but who might be involved in skilled labor and also in the teaching profession. And our dear Onoks, again, performed excellently well in this modern school. The opportunity to take the London University General Certificate Examination, GCE, which would then enable him to gain admission to the university. His education at St. Peter's College also gave him the opportunity to train as a teacher, especially in subjects such as English, arithmetic, and the principles and methods of education. And again, our dear Prof did so brilliantly well on account of his performance in the first examination in the college, prefect of his class. So he's been a leader right from the very beginning and working through every single thing. So in those days, he was concurrent candidature in both the teacher training as well as the GCE exam. It's not something that people would like to do these days. While at the St. Peter's College, he also studied very hard for the London GCE exam. And at that time, one of the requirements for qualification to take the GCE exam was a pass in English in a pre-qualifying exam. This our dear Andrew did, and he passed the exam in 1964, which then qualified him to enroll for the GCE examinations. With great wisdom, great dexterity and sagacity, he studied for the GCE examination while simultaneously in the teacher training class. A devotion, ladies and gentlemen, which is very unusual in young people these days. So it was not surprising that he passed the GCE O-level exam in English, in geography, in economics, in British Constitution at that time, and in botany in excellent grades in July 1965. By passing the GCE O-level exam, he was exempted from some teacher training subjects, which enabled him to concentrate on fewer subjects in the grade 2 examination, as well as in the GCE advanced level examination. Ladies and gentlemen, he subsequently passed the teacher grade 2 examination and the GCE advanced levels exam with good grades in geography, economics, and British Constitution, which made him eminently qualified to enroll in any university. So, he became a village teacher, you know, and I went through so many areas after he got the double qualification, the 3 certificates. He was marching and he now became the most sought out village teacher in that Nigeria as the headmaster. So Prof was once a headmaster. And these experiences helped him to build his courage and resilience. It's a determination to succeed in whatever he does. It's connivance with the rules and regulations governing education. And those are the things that have helped him. If you read the book, please read the book. Because I'm only summarizing. You will see how a man from no background, he wasn't brought up by a professor or by an administrator, somebody who was brought up by a farmer, could on his own begin to think of what he wanted in life. And he did so very well. University of Ibadan, our great professor Onokerhoraye was admitted into the University of Ibadan to read geography in 1967. At that time, he was 22 years old. His admission, however, nevertheless, was held down by the Nigerian Civil War. Indeed, he had earlier secured admission to the University of Nigeria in Nsukka. But the closure of that university due to the Civil War prevented him from moving to the University of Nigeria. And the role of our great man, Dr. Samuel Okomodian, somebody I love, somebody I adore, in his journey to Ibadan. Because the time was going to go to University of Ibadan. The road travel from Midwest to Ibadan to commence studies was made impossible by that war, because the Biafran soldiers had destroyed the bridge at that time between Benin City and Owerri. It was Samuel Ogbomodian, as governor of the Midwest region, who lifted the estranged students by military aircraft from Benin City to Lagos, from where they traveled by road to Ibadan. Ladies and gentlemen, I found that area, I shed tears. Because it was for such actions. Because I was also a beneficiary of Ogbomodian. That Ogbomodian was noted for in those days, which have made him, in my mind, the best governor this country has ever had. The days at UI, to him, the University of Ibadan was a masterpiece where he gained extreme experiences in community life. He shared a room at the Independence Hall at the University of Ibadan with another Midwest student, Mr. Andrew Omonwite, I don't know where he's here today, who later became the registrar of the then Bendel State University. His university education was painless, as he had sufficient funds, initially from the Midwest government students' loan, again thanks to Ogbomodian, and later as a federal government scholar. Ladies and gentlemen, let's celebrate those days. Because if it is now, if you are not the child of a rich man, you cannot even enter an aircraft. You cannot get a loan, and so on and so forth. Sir, Ogbomodian remains dear to my heart, and I believe that later states have not celebrated that man enough. The University of Ibadan is center of educational excellence. The story of his life at Ibadan is what counting, and I want those of you to go back to know what university were those days as compared to where they are today. As he said, it epitomized the excellent university education that was the benchmark of those days. He surmised that the period was indeed golden, which was why universities were called then the ivory towers. I don't know what we call them these days. They are called ivory towers those days. I don't know whether we will call them wooden towers today. The most essential elements which he narrated in the book at that time were access to easy access scholarships, excellent students accommodation facilities, cheap and affordable 3 square meals, an excellent library with students using its facilities with ease, and readily available religious and social amenities. On page 78 of the book, I smiled with envy when he said universities at that time met international standards as expected of any university in the world. I smiled and I grimaced, and I then wondered why our current universities are now searching for global excellence, which our older universities got without difficulties. So, some of his most unforgettable teachers at the University of Ibadan, Professor Dudley, Professor Obayode. By the way, Obayode became Vice Chancellor of Ife when I was a student at Ife. Mr. Ukpabi Asika, who later became the administrator of the East Central State. And then Emeritus Professor Faniro. He was influenced by their teachings, social development, arising from the intense national patriotism that came out from independence. At the time, universities were the first grounds for discourses around post-independence development. And UI, being Nigeria's pioneer university, offered the background for pontificating such intellectual famous. And it was taught by such elements. So it wasn't difficult to know why, whatever Onokerhoraye did, he had a very sound beginning. His choice of urbanization as his scholastic focus was influenced by a book titled Urbanization in Nigeria, which was written by our dear Professor Akin Maboyuji, the man who captured Abuja. And at that time, he was all captured the mind of our dear friend, Professor. So, his graduation at UI, I can see when he was graduating, his lovely wife was standing beside him, very beautiful academic gown. With hard work and extreme brilliance, he passed his final examination, earning a BSc degree, second class upper division, geography and regional planning in 1970. And those days, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, to get second class upper division was no mean feat at all, because they didn't offer. So let me just stop there, because those of you are here will know what I mean. So he was an extraordinary student, and he passed second class honor upper division. So his immediate UI task and vision. He immediately got appointment after graduation as a teacher at the St. Peter Clever's College in Agalugbe, soon after graduation in the Delta State, for which he earned only a salary of £25 per month. £25 per month. His senior vision after university education was missed. He was asking, what will I do after university education? It was missed. He initially said he would be a teacher, later he said he would be a civil servant, rising to the post of permanent secretary, and then also in the management profession. However, given his good grade in the exam in Ibadan, and learning from his esteemed professors, who he revered very much, as the University of Ibadan, he later decided he would pursue a career in academics, which would also enable him to become a professor similar to Professor Godwin, that taught him at Ibadan. So, consequently, I want to say I'm going to say this again because we need to learn from history. And Prof, thank you for, because I was making these points, I was taking down notes for the current administration. Consequently, a highly performing federal government administration at the time offered him scholarship to undergo postgraduate studies in geography at the London School of Economics. And I wondered, this was immediately after the Civil War. And it is praiseworthy that a government that fought such an intractable war soon after was able to offer scholarship to students to study overseas. A process, that is very limited in today's world, free Nigerian developmental experience. Scholarships are hard to buy. What we now have are loans, where students will be imparted to others. In those days, I also got scholarships. I got a lot of scholarships, and I was studying. Ogwemuna was excellent. Gave us this and that. Gave us scholarships. So, but these days, it's difficult to get scholarships. And those of us who got scholarships, I went to school almost free of charge, and I'm telling the younger ones that they cannot go to school free of charge, and they must get school loans, which I think is very challenging. His journey to London, I think, sir, that was the first flight, apart from the one that he flew from Benin to Ibadan. He enrolled for PhD. That was the question for him. So at the London School of Economics, he described his arrival in London as extremely pleasant. He was received by officials of British Council at Heathrow Airport and was accommodated at a student hotel at Queen's Garden in central London. By the way, sir, I know Queen's Garden. And he was paid a monthly subsistence allowance of £40. Apart from being paid that allowance, he also received other services free of charge. So he thoroughly enjoyed himself. Scholarship all over the place and all that. So I wish I saw the pictures at that time, but we didn't. But that is the picture of the London School of Economics, where our dear professor studied. His academic work at the London School of Economics was most phenomenal. His supervisors were assigned to him Professor Harrison Church as the lead and Professor Emery Jones as the course Geography, a field for which he had considerable passion. So, true to that, he initially started the matter of social and economic research at the University of Ibadan. And he assumed duty in NISA September 1974, immediately after relocating from London, while leaving his love, Josephine, behind to continue her nursing education. So at NISA, he described NISA as an international center of excellence. And at that time, he described NISA as having been established as Economic Development Research Center in the 1950s by the colonial government. A comprehensively conceived research center. It consists today, hopefully, of 4 departments: Economic Development Department, Agricultural Department, Physical Department, and Social Department. Always, all of them, the center was always headed by Professor of Economics. And I hear that Professor Obada is remember what that means. And on page 116 of the book, he described his assessment when he returned from London to NISA. He described his assessment of the facilities at NISA as comparable to those in the London School of Economics. Those are phenomenal words. In his words, he said, furthermore, the NISA had adequate research facilities and resources for anybody who wanted to carry out research. This NISA library was at that time one of the best social in Nigeria. So, our reflection is that, especially because he wanted to be closer to his parents, who are then getting old. Man who talked about his family all the time. May God continue to bless you, sir. He was then recruited by Professor P.O. Sada, who was the pioneer head of the Department of Urban and Regional Planning and University of Benin. And from NISA, he was appointed senior lecturer at the University of Benin, first appointment, despite the fact that at the time he came in Benin, he was then being assessed for full professor at NISA. He joined the University of Benin October 1, 1980, when Professor Adamu Baike was the vice chancellor. And ladies and gentlemen, even though I didn't meet Professor Adamu Baike, I know by the rating, by consensus, was regarded as a very highly performing and resourceful vice chancellor. Professor P.O. Sada, who had appointed him for NISA, had just been appointed the DVC. Professor M.A. Owojogu was the Dean of Social Sciences, while Professor Akimbode, at that time, was head of the Department of Geography and Regional Planning. The Department of Geography described it very well because he wanted to know where we are, and that's what he did. We learned both his personal life about the development of these various departments. The Department of Geography and Regional Planning was established in 1975 with the philosophy to train graduates who are well grounded in all aspects of the social sciences. Given his rich academic background, the University of Ibadan and the LEC was convinced and determined at that time to make substantial contribution to the growth and development of the department. Compared to what he was due to at the University of Ibadan, at that time he had heavier teaching load, which nevertheless did not dissuade him because he still had primary interest in research. So, soon after he was appointed, he was made the head of the Department of Geography and Regional Planning, October 1, 1981, which was just 1 year after arriving at the University of Benin. Sir, you did that to me too. After I arrived from Ife, you made me head of the Department of English. So when I saw that, I said, well, you also did that to me. So, as head, he had the opportunity to work with serious academics who had diverse interests. Some of them you mentioned, Professor D.D. Omuta, Professor P.C. Okafor, Professor Minu, Professor J.K. Gori, Professor Ramashashi, Professor Odemero, Professor Isi Ikoria, Professor Achipong, Professor Zo, and so on and so forth. There are so many things. Professor Onokerhoraye remembers all his friends. And I wonder myself, if I'm writing such a thing, will I remember the names of all the people that work? I don't know I can, because you must be very extraordinary. All the people that worked in the department, you mentioned them. If I don't mention your name, just know that it's in the book. Buy it and you see it, because I couldn't mention the name because I wanted to be very brief. So, as the HOD, let me mention some of our achievements. Establishment of a professional master's degree in urban and regional planning, assisted by Professor D.D. Omuta and Professor Dr. S. Otabi, 2 professional town planners in the department. Again, that department has some problems which in narrated earlier, but we're not here to talk about problems, we're here about how he prospered in the university system. Secondly, he strengthened the postgraduate program of the department, which had earlier been established by Professor Sada. Single-handedly supervised 25 PhDs, 30 master students in the department at that time. Promoted research, training of junior colleagues, and through several research publications. And he also functioned as the faculty representative in the which enabled him to provide additional support to staff. And he edited the Benin Journal of Social Sciences. After that, he handed it over, the editorship to Professor Bob who is present here. So, ladies and gentlemen, Estedemus, he encouraged them, but again, because of brevity, he attracted numerous research funds into the department, including adding a new theme, population is determined, to his research and engagement. He's completed and published his book titled Urbanization and Environment in Nigeria, which became a pioneer book. Some of the things I will later on. He received many research grants from general agencies, which enabled him to create staff in research areas of urban development, population activities, and social science. These included grants from the Social Science Research Council of Nigeria, International Development Research Center in Canada, the Rockefeller Foundation, the African Development Foundation, the World Bank, and the Ford Foundation. Promotion to professor. He based on his numerous research outputs and publications. Professor Onokerhoraye was promoted to the post of full professor at the University of Benin in October 1982. The report of his external assessment showed that he was rated A by 2 assessors and B+ by 3rd assessor. It's something that is very difficult to get these days. He was then only 37 years old. Remember, he started school at 9 years. He became one of the youngest professors in Nigeria at that time. He was promoted professor at the age of 37. Ladies and gentlemen, please recall that he entered primary school at the age of 11 years. Am I correct? Yes. And now, 26 years later, he was already a professor. Without the delay in school, he would have become a professor some 5 years earlier. Clearly phenomenal. This speaks of his high level industry, his steadfastness, his brilliance, his courage, and the benevolence of God Almighty. So, soon after he became a professor, he delivered the 35th inaugural lecture of the university on October 1991 on the subject Development, Equity, and Special Justice, which was 9 years after he became a professor. The lecture and he fought the Faculty of Social Sciences. Ladies and gentlemen, this period was indeed difficult for Nigeria, as it witnessed is what we call Structural Adjustment Program, SAP. Many of you will not know that's when Nigeria's economic policy started. On the recommendations of the IMF and the World Bank, governments and donor agencies began to direct funding to do what they call withdrawal of subsidies. They withdrew funding from tertiary to basic education. And this led to high cost of quality books and journals in response to the veterans in fighting to be 18 and so on and so forth. The fact that he was returned unopposed, and I want to say, sir, I have not seen anybody return unopposed since I became part of the university system. So, given the propensity for university professors to contest the post of dean with gusto and rigor, it was outstanding that Professor Onokerhoraye could be so appointed without a contest, despite being one of the youngest professors in the faculty of the time. This speaks volumes, ladies and gentlemen, of his social acceptance and high ranking among the academic staff of the faculty at the time. After successfully completing the first dean in 1984, he was again re-elected for another term of 2 years, again unopposed. So that must be in the Guinness Book of Academic Records, and without contest. Yet another remarkable achievement in any Nigerian university system. What did he accomplish at the Faculty of Dean? His fastidious application of the committee system of governance promotion of academic culture among staff by sticking to the rules of academic engagement and also building the capacity of staff to do so. Increased promotion of staff, protecting staff who are to be inordinately punished for the system. The successful defense of student rights to repeat examination after the introduction of the course in the system, and his promotion of the culture of good administrative practice based on equity, fairness, transparency, and social justice. So, ladies and gentlemen, it became obvious and known throughout the system that Professor Onokerhoraye was someone who protests the weak from injustice. Someone who was bold, assertive, fearless, and confident, and somebody you could go to get solutions to your problems. However, he was a friend of ASU. ASU is a staff union of Nigerian universities, academic staff union. In fact, that guy was holding very high positions as dean. He was a friend of ASU because many of very active members, let me say active and very controversial members of ASU, were located in his faculty. And because of that, he was said to be the dean of the faculty of militants. And for that reason, he did not appear to be in the good books of the university administration. Many of his requests to the central administration were turned down in preference for those recommended by heads of departments, even under his department, over his faculty, and other pled professors in the system at the time. But given his nature, somebody who believes and does what he believes, Onox remained undaunted and continued to pursue his interests and vision for the university with great privilege. Now, some of the other things he did for the university when he was still doing include membership of the University Governing Council elected for Senate, member Development and Physical Planning Committee, member Finance and General Purposes Commission, member Standards Board, members Appointments and Promotion Committee of the University. In Senate, he was a member of several committees, honorary degree committees, University Press, Staff Disciplinary Committee, the Motor Vehicle Laws Committee, and the Senate Estimates Committee. He also represents the Senate in several external boards, such as those of the College of Education and Development and that of the University of Benin. Later on, he became the Deputy Vice Chancellor. We are coming to the very interesting part, ladies and gentlemen, so be patient. When he completed his term in 1990, he had several options. But to his surprise, even though I told the other one that was not the very good books of the administration, the then Vice Chancellor, Professor Alele Williams, invited him to be one of the new DVCs, Deputy Vice Chancellor. Upon approval of his nomination by Senate, the Governing Council at that time failed to confirm the nomination under the pretense that they were not sure that the government would support the appointment at that time of two deputy vice chancellors. At the same time, ladies and gentlemen, the Midwest State government under Colonel E. invited him to join as a commissioner, but not wanting to shift his focus from academic to the shifting ground of politics. He politely but firmly rejected the offer of the state commissioner in the state, in the Delta in Midwest State. Interestingly, at the time, the Council of the University of Benin was dissolved, and a new council under Professor C.E.K. was appointed, who immediately approved the appointment of two DVCs, Professor himself and my great friend and Professor Reginald Ofegu Emeritus as the two DVCs at the time. So, his accomplishments as DVC. He focused on staff and students' welfare. He chaired the Committee on Rehabilitation and of Capital Projects. And he managed student crisis because, as I told you, they are very friendly with students and ASU staff whenever the BC was absent. Therefore, however, there was some form of controversy when the tenure of his of his boss, the former vice chancellor, was there. And what was most demonstrative of our friend's character was the way he handled his application for the office of vice chancellor. When his boss, Professor Lele Williams, was still desirous to continue as vice chancellor for an additional 1 year. 3 months to the end of Professor Alele's tenure, a new law came, which was recommended by the Longer Commission, requiring VCs to do second terms of 4 years and 3 years. Justice Kayode Esho was then the chairman of the Governing Council and Investor Opinion. Why some of his friends advised Professor Alele Williams not to seek, and actually mentioned the names of those friends, advised Professor Alele Williams not to seek an additional year. Others urged her to seek that year. And despite the controversies, the new council decided to advertise the post of a new vice chancellor. And given that Professor Alele Williams presided over the same council that elected members to elect a new VC, he decided to apply for the position. And he actually informed his boss, Professor Alele Williams, who at that point did not disagree with him. So at the end, when the selection committee completed its assignment, these are very well narrated, so I'm just summarizing what has been well narrated. He came first in the interview, and his name was forwarded to the visitor for confirmation. However, the same day, he and his co-contestants, those of who dare contest for vice chancellorship, were reported to the police by the then VC, Professor Lele Williams, with the accusation that they were attempting to burn down the vice chancellor's lodge. At the same time, Abuja also returned the sole submission of his name as VC, requesting that the names of the first 3 successful candidates be submitted instead. So, despite these shenanigans, I will call them shenanigans, he was appointed, ladies and gentlemen, the 12th substantive vice chancellor of the University of Benin, God Almighty, November 12, 1992. There were problems, but he surmounted them all, and it is not my duty to narrate them. If you want to know what happened, please go and buy a copy of that, or go and get a copy of that. Because he told me that I wasn't going to lunch, but so let me say go and get a copy of it. I'm appeal to him and sit down and read it well. His success had been upon despite all the rigmaroles. Testified again to his resilience, his strength of character, his fortitude, the grace of God to him, and his wide acceptance. Like I told you, that I was a professor friend of students and staff. And so I wasn't surprised that despite all the shenanigans, he came out top and passed his question. Let us quickly talk about community service before we go to the role of vice chancellor. Some of the contributions he made to community development include action plans to start contributing to development in Oyo, Enugu, Delta, Kwara. The president of the Association of Nigerian Geographers 1993 to 1991, chairman of Federal Government Committee to examine the feasibility of monetary small culture 1980, member of committee set up by J.M. Iniga to enhance tourism in the state in 1985, chairman National Committee on Great Drain 1994, chairman of committee established by Godwin in 1992 on land survey in the other state. In 1991, the president had the appointed him to train local government officials in the Edo Delta as part of efforts to strengthen local government administration and other. So, as vice chancellor, you can see how handsome he looked, how confident he was when he was vice chancellor. And this was the picture I kept saying when before I became. So when I saw this picture, I said, I must come to this university where they have such a very handsome vice chancellor. He will be remembered as the brilliant. He was nationally visible. Because I was not at University of Benin at that time, but I was somewhere I would always see his picture in various newspapers. Highly responsible, highly accessible. Vice Chancellor of the University of Benin. One of the greatest builders of that university that has given the proud name Unibest, a university that has been sought after by several generations. She laid the ground of students from all sectors of the country to this day, ladies and gentlemen. Let us give him a round of applause. That is the handsome professor when he was Vice Chancellor of the University. He was a VC with conscience. Please, mark that word. It's not easy to have a VC with conscience these days. And it will be a very Herculean task to even attempt to summarize the extensive work he undertook when he was Vice Chancellor of the University of Benin. But fortunately, this has been documented in a book titled On the Hot Seat, published by Spectrum Books, which I'm told was launched yesterday. They launched yesterday. And I remember reading that book and being familiar with some of the issues he documented in the book. I read it, and every time I was reading the book, I would laugh loud. I would laugh loud because of the jovial and commonsensical way the book was written. And my wife would say, "What are you laughing?" I said, "You won't understand." And indeed, I couldn't stop reading it because those of you in the university system may not, if you read it, you know what you say. But those of them in not university system, particularly those of you not university of Benin, may not be able to read. But if you have interest in becoming a vice chancellor, I'm recommending that book for you to read, so you know how to handle difficulties. Vice chancellorship is not a small matter. You want to get it, you get it. But by the time you get there, you find out that some people will say, I know I've not applied. But you can't wait because you've already applied. So that book, I will strongly recommend that book. After reading the book, I summarize it as a book. Everything is said, explained, and always for the benefit of the students and staff. His visionary process first start when he was appointed was to undertake a visionary process. And given his past role in governance of the university, this was not difficult. He simply focused on issues which he thought the past administrations have not done too well, and issues that epitomize his passion for justice, for fairness, and for equity. Indeed, throughout this book, he repeatedly reported how he fought for equity, justice, and fairness in the system. And so when he was appointed VC, he had no difficulty in developing a 12-point transformative agenda that were based on justice, equity, and principles, and fair and basic as his basic principles. And the vision agenda, I want to say fairness. If you are fair to people in the system, based on diversity, fairness, you find an easy life as vice chancellor. Fairness to the system, that is one of the things that people like. That is one of the things staff and students enjoy. And our Professor Onokerhoraye epitomized that. His vision included fairness, justice, and equity for staff and students, while consolidating research and teaching excellence, and the maintenance of discipline and orderliness in the university system. His major accomplishments, I cannot summarize, there are so many. Improvement of students' admission policy that ensured equitable admission of students regardless of their social background. This was a man that came from a very humble background, that went to London School of Economics. How can he not also encourage people of low backgrounds for work? So by the time he finished, the University of Benin became the most sought after university by everyone in Nigeria. Promotion of research through the repositioning of the university library, purchase about 250,000 books, 40 journals, initiation of the first internet integration, with many staff trained in the use of computers, training of staff in research and proposal writing, promotion of staff. At the time he completed Vice Chancellor, about 125 professors have been promoted, including the return of staff who had been inappropriately dismissed. They were returned to the system. And now one of those, and during this time, he established the inaugural lectures committee, and during his tenure, about 16 inaugural lectures were delivered. He developed a master plan. Before then, the University of Benin did not have a master plan, and that's why the University of Benin was denied infrastructural development funding from the federal government. Completion of the projects commenced by the predecessor, phase 1 of the medical students hostel, student College of Medical Sciences building, the fencing of the Vice Chancellor's Lodge, and the FNIE Yayi computer building. He also rehabilitated existing buildings that had problems, Pro-Chancellor's building, students hostel hall 2, the structuring of the central administration across the road parks, and so on and so forth. The same was infrastructural development was very profound. Also included the rehabilitation of the internet system, paying rising monthly electricity bills, ensuring constant supply of water, ensuring environmental maintenance, and completion of 3 major projects, phase 1 of the Faculty of Education building, 500-level theaters and Faculty of Social Sciences, and the naming of streets and districts within the university campus. So, staff welfare, this was a period of intense agitations during military rule, and he's talked about this in a most global way. Repeated strikes by unions. He used his knowledge and friendship with unions to reduce the negative consequences of the strikes in the university system. His staff welfare policies included the equitable staff promotions, provision of car and housing loans to staff, and provision of their head, provision for considerable head. However, there continued to be intense rivalry among the unions, which means staff unions. And he told a hilarious story, which when I was reading, I laughed loud. They were saying, "Father, what are you doing?" I was actually in the airplane when I was carrying my head. He read the story of how some artist staff in engineering tried to repair the university borehole when the non-academic staff were on strike, just to give the impression that the activities of the university can still go on when the non-academic staff are on strike. Not only were they not able to repair the hole, the non-teaching staff actually accused us of damaging the borehole, so I found that very funny. It shows the love, even though we quarrel and talk to ourselves, at the end of the day we love each other and we show a lot of friendship to one another. And that's what he was trying to epitomize in the book. I was wondering whether it was I think that was the one who was repairing the borehole. So staff welfare was something that was upon this mind. The relation of staff school was done and explained that this was despite the fact that this was not allowed by law. The physical development of University International Secondary School, the innovation and expansion of the Star Club of the university, intense rehabilitation and return to service of staff that were wrongly terminated. Unfortunately, he told the story of how those he helped to return to the university system lambasted and made mockery of him the time. This was a lesson too hard to handle, and it spoke volumes of the nature of people. I actually mentioned the name, but I won't mention the name. In his words, this is what he said. One of them described him as a murderer that wanted to kill him, while another described him as an illiterate vice chancellor. At the end of the day, he has not turned out to be an illiterate vice chancellor. To God be the glory. This was where my friend Mike Igini was very prominent in the reporting of this book. Mike Igini, who is present here today, who you all know as irrepressible Inex State Child Coordinator, one of the most patriotic Nigerians that we know today, was the president of the student union during his first year in office. Mike, are you here? Yes. So, he described Mike as a very effective leader who laid the foundation for the peaceful resolution of student crisis in the university. He was very effective. He gave me advice that helped him to settle many of the problems around. However, he mentioned about 3 events on Saturday which took place during the reign of Mike Igini. The first was the visit of Chief Enko Abiola to the university on the invitation of not just the students, but the then governor of the state, I think Oyegu. Governor Oyegu was then the governor. Apparently Oyegu must be in the other party, maybe. But he invited Abacha and he invited Enko Abiola to the discomfiture. I'm talking about you. To the conviction of Abiola, Abacha. Secondly, the convocation ceremony at which Admiral Akomu, a member of the Abacha government, was to be conferred honorary degree university degree. And high-level students' activism at that time characterized by strikes and demonstrations. He handled those episodes, collaboration with Mike Igini, with great wisdom, fairness, and always on the side of protecting the interests of the university. So we'll come to that later on. I'll tell you two events because of his role in bringing Abacha. There was a conspiracy to actually send a firing squad, all those things that happened. But I think one of the generals, General Aziza, helped to circumvent that episode. To God be the glory. We thank God that Aziza did not allow him to take premature life for that time. Students' unionism continued. As somebody who was the student union leader, Seji Odofejo, he also mentioned the terror. Now he took over as student union president. And that period was characterized again by pro-democracy activism, prolonged strikes, students' demonstrations, and vandalism, which led to the closure of the university. Again, Professor Onokerhoraye managed the situation. Great wisdom and gusto. And if you want to be a vice chancellor and you're not prepared to manage student crisis, please go and look for something else to do. Because students will always be at your tools. Amidst all the difficulties, he continued to maintain and adopt a strategic approach to students' welfare by providing, renovating, and expanding on campus accommodation, supporting the improvement of a Ekosedi campus, the adjacent community of staff and students, and establishing a very functional and active students' welfare board. So, Professor Onokerhoraye period was most fulfilling for him. You can see pictures. He was making speeches at convocation ceremony. You can see UCT Senate members. You can see him adorning somebody who was giving honorary professorship at the University of Benin. A most fulfilling period for a great friend. However, the last days in office were very testing. You know, becoming a vice chancellor is more intense than wanting to become a governor of a state. People will visit political leaders, they go around the place, they will even go to churches, they go to mosques, and sometimes they will even visit oracles, people that. So, and when he narrated this period, I thought it was a joke, because after I left, contesting for vice chancellor became a real battle. Just as he was able to apply for second term as vice chancellor, General Abacha, and I think because Abacha probably did not like him, promulgated the University Ministerial Amendment Decree No. 25, which reduced the tenure of vice chancellors to a single term of 5 years. And before then, an interview that, at that time, it was believed that he was going to do a second term. An interview had been conducted before the decree came out, where he ranked first amongst those that applied at the time. I remember that Bob did not mention the names of the other contestants. So if you read it, you will see those names. As a result, despite Abacha's decree, the then Minister of Education, Mr. Liman, wrote to him asking him to continue in office until further notice. Soon after, the same minister wrote back to him that he was going to re-advertise the post, and that he should try and apply, that this account announcement is coming, that he should try and apply. And our dear Prof felt this was unnecessary, and you can bring a lot of disharmony, you can cause further problems, and therefore decided not to apply for the post of vice chancellor. So, and I want to say that I don't want to remember the history, but I know that ministerial degree did not take up at that time. His tenure as vice chancellor of the University of Benin therefore ended on March 31, 1998. Ended March 31, 1998. Is that okay? Let's give him a round. The last days in office as vice chancellor were very testing again. The narrative is that, you know, it showed again his grit and resilience and determination to maintain the long-time traditions and culture of the university system. He worked under Abacha at the time, but he came to the conclusion that Abacha did not like the University of Benin. Given the pro-democracy and activist stance of the staff and students of that university. So he was singled out as a pro-ASU vice chancellor and an activist who did not support the political movements and long-term conjecture of the government at that time. Singled out a particular occasion during which some supporters of Abacha came to his office to ask him to distribute badges. We had to know Nigerians earnestly want Abacha never, but members was asked to distribute those badges to members of Senate and University, so that members of Senate and University who can support Abacha continue in office. But he told them he was not going to do that. He bluntly refused to take the badges for distribution to staff, because he knew that the Senate of those days would be very angry with him if he accepted and distributed the badges to the senators. His father retort in the book is what recounted here, what he said. I have no doubt in my mind that if a VC carries such a badge to the Senate these days, this period, many will be struggling to collect the badges. Many senators will be struggling to collect the badges. So, ladies and gentlemen, this speaks volume of the present day intellectuals in the university system. And indeed, it's a food for thought for all of us. So, post VC activities, he went to Harvard universities after many delays from certifications and different offers. He finally secured a post to join the academic program in international health at Harvard University. Harvard exposed him to elements in proposal writing and contacts that have helped him ever since. He found the CPED, Center for Population and Development, an idea that came from an action research group, and which helped in his forward-looking plans for development of Nigeria. Despite attempts by some members of ASU to block him, CPED was registered by the CSE in October 1999. And today, ladies and gentlemen, CPED has turned out to be one of Nigeria's most successful NGO with focus on challenges that faces the Niger Delta region of the country. CPED accomplishment have been phenomenal, improving the income of cassava staple, and his role in establishing private universities was also phenomenal. His multiple awards. Publication of his met his wife, his 2 children,
all my days. I've been held in your hand from the moment that I wake up until I lay my head. Oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. 'Cause all my life you have been faithful, and all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You will lead me through the fire, and in darkest night, you were close like no other. I've known you as a father, I've known you as a friend, and I have lived in the goodness of God, yeah. And all my life you have been faithful. Oh, and all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God, yeah. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life surrendered now, I give you everything. Your goodness.
Because there is a special celebration which we didn't tell you. When I was giving his citation, we kept it a secret. And that is the fact that March 30th, about 2 weeks from now, our blessed professor will be hitting 70 and taking a bow from the University of Benin. He's going to have a valedictory lecture and of course celebrations to mark his effective 70th year birthday, and we are going to be here in Jesus' name. And so we're going to conclude what he was presenting, but to just say that I could fully relate with him, because it's a book of over 700, very title of the book as captured by his grace, which Professor Onokerhoraye Emeritus has emphasized, is to see how, despite the challenges and all that he went through, he has remained a pillar and a great man of the church, a great facilitator, a great mentor, supporter of so many. And so we are calling on you to eventually look at that. So it's on that note that we'll be moving on now, because we're going to just get the conclusion he made, but we're going to move on to the main action why we came here today, and that is the unveiling of the book, the unveiling of the book. And so, just before we do that and we tidy it up here, we just want to say again, hello, are they sharing anything that way, please? I'm interested. So just to say that we apologize, there are so many of our eminent brothers and sisters, leaders, fathers, friends of Professor Onokerhoraye. To tell you, Professor Onokerhoraye just saw a vice chancellor, the the Vice Chancellor of Igbenedion University, with the wife, Professor Lawrence Ezemoye, and said, Lawrence, you've not been here. And Prof said, I've been here since. And what it means is there are so many of our persons that are here that we've not even had the opportunity of recognizing. I use this opportunity again to welcome to this occasion our own brother, our old friend, another great Vice Chancellor at this time, Vice Chancellor of Igbenedion University, here with the wife, Professor of Geography, Professor and Professor Mrs. Ezemoye, Lawrence Ezemoye. We also have, because why we say no shaking, we have the present Provost, College of Medical Sciences of the University of Benin. He is here, and the whole medical team. People did not know what was happening here just now. We had about 5 professors here of medicine, surgeons, all of them trying to quickly attend to our brother. But here, the current Provost is here, Professor Wilson Sado. We thank you for being here. A man of God, and I said I will especially recognize him this time, always shy, but he's our great father, a reverend father. And to tell you that these people, even when they are doing the work, they are also still pursuing academic excellence. One of the greatest things of the Catholic priest is the robustness of their academic background, and they keep on working and excelling. And that is why I'm happy to report, Professor Emeritus, that we have now Professor, the Reverend Father we know very well, very Reverend Father Andrew Binyan, has a PhD, as it were, as well, and PhD, not honorary. Prof, Reverend Father, thank you for being here with us all the time. Parish Priest at Albert for 10 years and all. We also have Professor and Mrs. Fred Opute, thank you, of the University of Benin, great friend, former provost in that university. We have Olatunde Orowolu of Safari Books, thank you. Mrs. Imogan Catering, thank you. Engineer Ominiabos, thank you for coming over. Pastor Emmanuel Irabo, my friend, thank you for being here. Mike Oresu, Honorable, thank you. Prince and Prince Clement Uwa Ewika, thank you. Reverend Father Lawrence Obasi, the Father, the Law. We say, welcome, Father, my own dear Father. He was one of those lineages to pray for me while I was in ICU. Thank you for God's answered prayers. We also have Father Augustine Ubidike. Thank you, Father, for being here. We also have Dr. Esther Jangbadi and Dr. and Mrs. Imagbe, immediate past Bosa, University of Benin. And so, what we've just tried to do, Captain Kosoko Adeyo Soye, retired. He has been a good friend of the Onokerhoraye for over 30 years. And that is the captain. Thank you for also coming here. We also have Deaconess Moses, or Deacon Moses Obe, Western Delta University. Professor and Sister Professor Mrs. Felicia Ngozi Ofwani, my Dean Emeritus. We have also Professor and Barrister Mrs. Anthony Ebegbe, Prof. And Prof, we call him the Provosti. Thank you for being here. Right Honorable Chevalier and Engineer Damien, and Right Honorable Dame and Sister, Dr. Sister Udwehi. Thank you, sirs, for being here. They have been here since we saw them. Professor Michael Ogunu, thank you. We saw you also. Mrs. Quinette Orobodo, General Manager, Edo Broadcasting Service, by being represented here by Joseph Egagi. Thank you. Professor Mrs. Gloria Vincent Osaga, thank you. Professor Charles Egwawari, HOD, thank you. Professor Mrs. C.A. Princess C.A. Emobon, Mama, thank you so much. We also have Oyase D.O. Ibowi, Sir, Father, thank you for being here with us. And also Okoro Felicia, Professor, former Director of GS, University of Benin, ICPD Board of Trustees member. Thank you, my sister. Asu woman at that time. Professors of Mrs. Grace Apochefu, Professor from Delsu, thank you. Chief Owen Chamberlain Obasaki JP, my brother and friend, the Otafo of Uromi. We are blessed to have you. And here, Professor and Professor Mrs. Okolocha. And then, of course, we have mentioned already, but you didn't know, that our own Professor May, a former Woye, is former Bosa University of Benin, and since then has become the Dean of Management Sciences, Nile University, Abuja. Then, of course, from Delta State University, Delta State Assistant to the Honorable Commissioner of Education, Mofe Okpoma. Thank you for being here. And of course, we want to appreciate Igaro Omoyanma, who is of the Edo State Hospitals Management Board. Saint Osazua Patricia, Professor and Deacon, P.E. Igbenovia, that has the mandate to call me Eddie My Lord. I greet you, sir. Former member, Governing Council, University of Benin, former Dean, Faculty of Social Science, University of Benin. Thank you for being here. And of course, at this stage, be sure that I need to take water myself. I have to be careful. We have to wait a little bit, and then, so that we move on to the next item. Now, make una laugh small now. Okay, I'm very okay. No, we do that. Okay. All right. So, this is now, thank you, officially the final words from the book. That is the review and presentation. Please, let's listen to, I'm now echoing the voice of Professor Friday Okonofor. He says, and I'm not quoting, you can see it there, that says the book, The Riches of His Grace, is a true life story of hard work, resilience, dedication, the grace of God to a good man, an epitome of high-level devotion to scholarship and academia, and one of the most comprehensive, frank, and detailed autobiographies I have ever read. I recommend it strongly to any person wanting to know the inner recesses of life and politics in Nigerian universities and the comparative history of pre- and post-colonial development of Nigeria. On behalf of Professor Friday Okonofor, he says, I thank you all for listening. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much, Professor Eddie. Thank you very much. May God richly bless you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I think it is worthy of note to place as standing and clapping ovation to the author of this very distinguished book. Please, can we please rise? With a standing ovation of the author of this great book, one indeed worthy of emulation. Thank you, may God richly bless you. Thank you, brother.
To be the best, number one, nothing less.
All right, DJ, bring it down.
To my destiny.
Invite invitation to the book stand.
Please, let's be aware that these are just to represent us, to unveil the book. And so, Professor Lawrence Ezemoye is please invited to join in this unveiling. My wife, Professor Sa Ikatua, you are also listed here. And the representative of the governor, His Excellency of Delta State, is also called to be here. We're talking of Professor N. Tunakari to please also step forward, while the Vicar General of the Archdiocese of Benin, Very Reverend Father Augustine Ege, is also to be there. And then Professor Mrs. May Woye, OON, to join as well. Vice Chancellor, one of the universities, please pardon me, I know it's in Delta as well. My sister had, she's a serving Vice Chancellor in one of the universities in Delta State at this moment. Please also join in the list as we have it here. And then Chief B. Arugodi, please also turn up. And of course, the wife of the chairman must be there as well. Please, Ms. Aruba, join. Then Professor Willie Akochafo, please also join. And then we have Professor Remy Kuke, VC, Fupri. Sorry, we did not formally recognize you here. Fufre. No? Ruki. Okay, please, sorry we didn't recognize that. Oh, we did. Oh, you did. Please also join. And then Professor Sam Oyowarif is still around, former Honorable Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. These are just leading us in terms of the unveiling of this work. And please again, as we have tried, the representative of the Vice Chancellor, University of Benin, our own dear Professor Chief Lillian Salami, is being represented by the DVC administration. Please, Madam, Sister, we want that you please join. Did you bring me a new list? No, okay. So thank you. So I will now go and the ceremony of where are we? The camera capture this now. The camera, you capture our back. Because this is history being made. Okay. No, you will block them. Over. We'll not turn around when it's out. Obey you, okay, sir. Okay. Go on. Go on. The glory of God and the service of humanity. Unveil this monumental work of our dear colleague and wish him more peace to himself, long life, and prosperity. Amen. Wow. Okay. Let's see. Where is it? You can read it on. So, who is the leader of the photo taking session? Okay, so they stand there. Otto, go there closely. You are the man of the moment. Yes, sir. They should come this way. They should come this way. Okay, they can capture it. Okay, spread out. They should spread it. So, guys, what has just been unveiled is saying that in the riches of His grace, Professor Andrew Godwin Onokerhoraye, renowned scholar, takes readers on an inspiring and profound journey through his life's remarkable chapters. Born into humble beginnings, his path remarkably evolved to encompass extraordinary achievements, unwavering faith, and unparalleled generosity. From the small town of Autobiography in Delta State, Nigeria, to the hallowed halls of prestigious universities across the globe, Professor Onokerhoraye unveils the awe-inspiring power of God's grace. Please, the wife of the author, please step forward, because everything about him has been about you as well. Please step forward, our First Lady before University of Benin. That is Mrs. Onokerhoraye. Please step forward. And so we continue. Professor Onokerhoraye unveils the awe-inspiring book of God's grace, which propelled him to transcend societal boundaries, racial prejudices, and personal setbacks. With unwavering conviction, he shares his transformative encounters, divine interventions, and the wisdom acquired through overcoming personal challenges. Through poignant storytelling, Professor Onokerhoraye unveils how God lifted him from the depths of despair and enabled him to embark on a journey filled with immense accomplishments in academia, leadership, and philanthropy. From this groundbreaking research to his tireless efforts to shaping further generations or future generations, he offers invaluable insights into the limitless potentials within each of us to rise above adversity and embrace God's grace. The riches of his grace serves as a testament to a life lived with unwavering faith, compassion, and desire to empower others, a life that reaffirms the transformative power of grace in triumphing against all odds. Congratulations, our own Professor Emeritus. That is the great book that they are holding now. I hear it's about 700 and some plus pages. That is that you will need about 700 and something days to read the book. And with all the distractions, Professor, wait now, this is now maybe a matter of commercial. I said so. 772 pages, but it's in both print, and you will love to keep it as it were. Thank you very much. And the next thing we will do, we are going to play with Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much. And we are aware there is a time when we're going to be asking individuals to say one thing. But be assured that in about an hour, we're going to leave here. One major item, all these books we have been presented has not happened here. I'm telling you, it is guaranteed. Food good day later on. Thank you. God bless you. All right.
Thank you very much, sir. As we recite back to our seats, I would like to invite the saxophonist, Shemezan, to take the next few minutes to give us a little prayer. Thereafter, we'll go to the other item.
Get there. Get there.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and the man on whose honor we're here. Please, let's try to clarify this. You would have observed that we did not go the normal way, let me put it that way, of veiling, and then you start making donations and purchases. But we are aware that there are some friends, representatives that have come here to say thank you, Emeritus Professor Onokerhoraye. And to that extent, without necessarily making it the normal launching, copies of the books are available. And the first thing is to say here that the hard copy I was holding now, that is what we call the premium hard copy. That heavy book, the cost price first is 25,000. That heavy book, hardcover premium, 25,000. Then the standard soft copy, which is also available, the price is 20,000 naira. That is the cost price. But this is to formally say that if you left home with check, you left home with cash to come and give governor, we are sure we have something to say. Vice chancellors are here who have benefited from the great job that Professor Onokerhoraye Emeritus has done they will also may want to see something. Our community leaders are here. Members of the church, they are here. So we are saying that anyone that wants to say something at this stage, you are also welcome to say so. And so that is how we want to quickly now say we are moving on. Enjoy your meal, but please, if they are on, enjoy your meal, but please, if they are delaying, don't be angry. Professor Onokerhoraye, I told you earlier, make sure there was preparation for everyone to the extent so that the drivers will not see two bridges when they are taking us home. They make sure that tickets were provided for drivers to be given their food as well. And so there's no way you will now be here and you will not also get something to eat. Just indicate and something will get to you. Once again, thank you. And then there were still so many names that we were to recognize. We will do that. And so that before you go home and say I did not recognize you, we will tell you later I did not forget. Immediately the list got to me, we will definitely take the recognition. So once again, thank you. Our co-MC, carry on and let's see how we go on.
Thank you very much, bro. God bless you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, we would like to bring just a little interlude to help us digest our meals. It is worthy to note that the Center for Population and Environmental Development is known for very, very important things as it concerns the good of humanity. 6 tenets, I would say. The tenets on climate change, gender equality and gender development, health system and health delivery, education, growth, development and equity, peace building and regional development. We're going to bring on board a drama troupe to do for us just 10 to 15 minutes piece. For those who want to give their first speeches, who want to say a word or two, you can actually beckon on me. I'll come to your seats and take your names. So while the drama is on, you can let us know and we'll get your names for the free speeches. The drama is directed by Ms. Awele Ikem. She is of the University of Benin, lecturer and dance therapist, Department of Theatre Art, University of Benin.
So while that is going on, just before we get one of our first speakers, we want to appreciate the coming in of Professor and Mrs. Matthew Seder. My brother, thank you. Chief Lady Roslyn Egboge, former Acting Registrar, University of Benin, Acting Registrar, Federal University of Petroleum Resources, and former Registrar, Edwin Clark University. Thank you so much. Professor Emmanuel Onibere, retired, affiliated to Western Delta University, Ogara, as Dean of Computing College, former Deputy Vice Chancellor, University of Benin. Professor and Mrs. Kester Echene, my Oga, formerly of the University of Benin, retired Prof of Foreign Languages. I never knew you were here, Prof. I greet you, I salute you. Our own dear Reverend Father Charles, Dr. Omogiate. Welcome, Father. Ever handsome, ever so lovely looking. Thank you. And Venerable and Dr. Mrs. Osaze Ibenusi, the great chaplain, All Saints Chapel, University of Benin. You are welcome. So on that note, we now want to respectfully invite the representative of His Excellency, the Governor, the Executive Governor of Delta State, who is here. And we actually had recognized him earlier. To please now, he says he has a word or two for us. I'm trying to quickly. That is Professor Ed Tunakari. Am I correct? Thank you, Prof. So please, let's give him a round of applause as he approaches here to make a speech as he is representing the Executive Governor of Delta State. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The chairman of today's occasion, Professor Emeritus Professor Eric Arubaye. Please permit me to stand on the protocol already well established. I feel highly privileged to represent my principal, His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Delta State, Right Honorable Elder Sheriff Obolewori, who was invited to the presentation of the autobiography of Emeritus Professor Andrew Godwin Onokerhoraye, titled The Riches of His Grace. As we gather to celebrate the remarkable journey of an erudite professor's chronicled in his autobiography, we are reminded that true greatness knows no boundaries. Having exhaustively read through the pages of this autobiography, I was struck by the profound themes that resonate with the human experience: resilience, courage, and the power of self-discovery. Emeritus Professor Onokerhoraye has masterfully woven his journey into a narrative that captivates and inspires. At a relatively youthful age, he not only shattered the glass ceilings, but also paved the way for future generations of scholars to vigorously pursue their dreams and attain the zenith of their academic career aspiration. His visionary leadership, coupled with unwavering commitment to inclusivity and innovation, transformed the University of Benin into an academic holy grail. Yet, beyond his professional accolades, our emeritus professor remains an epitome of humility and compassion, embodying the values of integrity, empathy, and community service. His mentorship has touched countless lives, nurturing the next. It takes bravery to peel back the layers of one's life and lay them bare for all to see. Your honesty and encouragement from this book. I extend high gratitude to Emeritus Professor Onokerhoraye for allowing us to glimpse into his world and for inviting us on this extraordinary journey. As we celebrate the presentation of this remarkable autobiography, I encourage each of you to immerse yourselves in its pages. May Emeritus Professor Andrew Godwin Onokerhoraye's story ignite a spark of inspiration in all of us and serve as a reminder that our own stories are worth telling. Thank you, and God bless.
And the representative of the governor has just confided on me and confided on me that something will be getting to emeritus later. Thank you so much. And so, we have here from a very distinguished Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, a man known for his commitment to his faith, a great man with the wife here present. We want to also ask him to say a word or two. Person of distinguished Senator Roland Owe, ROS Owe. Please let's applaud him and welcome him to support. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you, sir. Glory to Jesus. Emeritus Professor, where is Mama? Okay, but she's hearing me. Because you are ordinary, that woman is the Professor Emeritus. Well, our father, that present, all of that procedure started. Our father, members and brothers. I came in contact with Onokerhoraye when he got into University of Benin. I was running election. He gave me a check. 2 days later, I couldn't find the check. I couldn't go to the bank. I was ashamed. After about the week, I went there. I said, I can't find that check. He said, why not come? He wrote another one. You are aware. About a month after Professor Wans was appointed Vice Chancellor, I came out of Money Mass. I said, Prof, come on. What do we do? University of Benin have been here. No Benin as Vice Chancellor. What are we going to do? He said, Senator, no problem. We discuss. He said, next 2 weeks, discuss with Professor Wans. I'm sorry he's not here today. A great man, may God bless him and bless him. Went to some discussion, things started happening. And at the end, that's the time I knew that all these universities will be like a secret society. Because there are positions people go into. When it is time for election of running, the matters are allocated those who head for departments.
I can call my dad at 1 a.m. and we say, Rosie, what's the matter? Are you okay? Your voice is so low. That is the father I have. My father is always seeking for our progress. Whatever vision we have, he is there. He doesn't condemn. We say, okay, let's look at it this way. What do you think? Why can't you try it this way? Or you go and say, Dad, that thing I did, it didn't really work out. He goes, don't worry, it's good to take a risk. That's why. That is the father I have. And today, that he has written this book, I'm not surprised. We read it, and each and every one of us proofread it. But I'll tell you into one thing. When I was younger, my cousin is here, Ejiro. My dad put it up for himself because I lived with my grandma. And my dad said to me, you are a Robo child, you will speak Robo. He worked at Aganope, teaching there. And I kid you not, within a year, that's my father's dedication, I'm able to speak Robo. And I can even write it, and I'm proud to say it. That is my father. He doesn't just care for us as children, he actually cares for everyone in the family, in the Onokerhoraye's family. Whatever my father would do for me, he will do for my other cousins. There is no division. And he made us to know that you are not alone. Everybody that is Onokerhoraye is part of you. And today I say thank you to my father for being a great father, for always being there for us. And what can you give a great man that has it all? We don't have much, but on behalf of my younger ones, Onajite, Keke, Christina, JJ, and myself, we are going to launch this book with 10 million naira. That, you know, is very small, but we appreciate you. And I will do it the way the Robo do it. Me for us, amen.
Well, indeed, a proud daughter and a proud father. Please put your hands together for them. Just 1 minute, sir. Just 1 minute so that we can be ready.
Standing on the existing protocol, I am one of the sons of the man we are honoring today. By name, Emmanuel. He practically brought us all up. The son, all my siblings are children of the senior brother of Emeritus Professor Andrew Onokerhoraye. And so on behalf of myself and my siblings, my brothers, person of Job, John, and all others, we want to appreciate our daddy and launch a copy of this book with a sum of 200,000 naira.
Thank you very much, well indeed. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, permit me to stand on the already established protocol. I'm Vincent Omojulemo, a son to Professor Onokerhoraye. Actually, so many people have said so much.
So sorry. I have to make a great announcement again. I have some friends and an auntie that gave me some donation and I completely forgot. Alaja Ajibike from the UK supported that with 690,000 naira. My uncle Kingsley Ide supported my dad with 138,000 naira. And Mrs. Edith Amiogu and Mr. Martin Amiogu supported my dad with 233,000 naira. Dafe Okotete supported my dad, that's my cousin, with 100,000 naira. My uncle Femi Okotete, supported my dad with 750,000 naira. Thank you very much. For that, be quick.
Thank you. So while they are coming on, when you hear those 133,000 naira, you now wonder about the 3,000. That means it's coming in foreign currency. And so we want to appreciate Pascal Ubome, our own Pascal, Honorable Pascal Ubome, that has sent in a check for 100,000 naira to support. Thank you. Sister, they say you have something to say. Where is the drama group? Are you sure you are still ready? Come out now.
Okay, good evening, everyone. All protocols observed. I'm so glad when I saw the introduction that the story started in Okitikwa. So I'm happy, you know, at the beginning everybody is represented, and I just felt, oh my God, where are we, the Kale people from Okitikwa? So like one of the Aribodis said earlier, that anybody that is going to university will think of Uniben first. It's also the same with us. Whenever we are filling our jam form, remembering that our daddy is in Uniben. So Uniben is our first choice, and we formed a community that will speak our dialect freely. About a week ago, we still joked a lot about daddy and mommy, that you need to listen to them speak Yoruba. Please note that their Yoruba is Yorukale, because they speak Ikale. That is our natural father. We call him daddy, we don't call him professor. Sir, we are very grateful. Thank you very much for what you have done in our lives. In everybody generally, my siblings, my family, we are so grateful because we can call on you at any time. Daddy and mommy are my parents. They were my wedding sponsors. You know, 22 years ago today, Daddy, do you remember I pulled you to Lagos? Thank you so much. And my husband has also become his son. So on behalf of myself and my husband, we'll launch the book with 1 million naira. And on behalf of my siblings and myself, that's the Eniola Baloguns, we'll launch it with 500,000. Thank you, Daddy.
Because we are giving 1 million, I give you another 1 million. Right. Thank you so much. God bless you. So we want to thank our friends, relations, supporters of Professor Onokerhoraye, the members of the high table that have remained. And so what we're going to do, drama people, is that because so many people are leaving, let Professor Emeritus say a word or two of appreciation. And then you will now end it by your drama presentation. Okay? So Prof. Emeritus, sir. Are you ready, sir? Emeritus, are you ready, sir? Yes, sir. Thank you, thank you. It's not just emeritus, I call him double emeritus, emeritus professor, emeritus vice chancellor, and all. Member of the Order of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Our own Professor A.G. Onokerhoraye, OON. They say you go move you.
Thank you very much. Let me recognize the protocol very briefly. The former governor of Edo State, Chifoyegun, is here. His Royal Highness, Professor Akinzwa, is one of us. Professor, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Pro Chancellor, and the Queen, they are here with us. Emeritus professors, Vice Chancellors, former Vice Chancellor, Principal Officers, they are all here. I want to thank everybody. I've written the book. I know I'm going to say, I'm not going to repeat what I said in the book. It's about 700 pages as Professor Onokerhoraye was has presented it. Get a copy. The conception of today's event was a celebration of my life as I wrote it in the book and stepping backward from active academic activities. That is what we emerged. It was not, when my colleagues asked me whether I was in a book launch, I said no, book presentation. Although we are not coming to collect the book free of charge. So you have to pay for the book also for this presentation. I will conceived it largely as a pseudo-academic gathering. We discovered that there are over 200 professors here today from the day. And people who are our friends of professors, they're here. And that is concession. We did it for people to say chief launcher, co-chief launcher, deputy chief launcher, special chief launcher. We did it. But from what happened, we collected more money than if I had said there is launching. Money started flowing in from all sectors. My friends, my colleagues, and my family. I want to appreciate my children, both biological and adopted ones. I want to appreciate all of them. And all of you that are here, I thank you for this very special day. My academic journey started on 12th April 1974 when I defended my PhD thesis at the University of London. Immediately I defended it in the chief examiner gave me a job at the University of Liverpool as a lecturer. I said no, I'm going back to Nigeria. There was no Japan there, everybody, but my contemporaries are here. You can see Onokerhoraye and all the rest, many of them have come. We finished, want to go back home to Nigeria or something, because Nigeria has some of them. So he said, publish the book. Secondly, the book was on Benin, urbanization in Benin. I published it. And the book earned me the Onokerhoraye II Memorial Prize, instituted by His Majesty the radio, on behalf of his father. Onoba was happy with the book. So when he wrote his autobiography, which he titled, I Remain, Sir, Your Obedient Servant, he asked me to come and present it in Lagos, which I did. His Majesty is one of the most, not one, the most educated traditional ruler of his time. Schooled at Cambridge, where he read law. May his soul rest in peace. I gave that background because today, April 13, 2024, makes it 50 years and 1 day that I've been in academics. And I have devoted my life essentially to academic activities. What some philosophers call living the life of the mind. You think, you read, you write. I showed, in fact, as Professor Konuwa pointed out there, he gave me public appointments. I was not interested in commissioner, I was not just come and do this. It's just reading, writing, exchanging knowledge, publishing. That is what I use my life to do. But every good thing has to come to an end. Now I'm getting weaker. I have to step backward. So I give this background to thank all of you. Incidentally, many people have left, but many of these who came here today were those who contributed to making my life of living the life of the mind successful. As I said, with over 200 professors that were enumerated today, you can't get that collection anywhere in the world easily. Even His Royal Highness is a professor, everybody, professor here. Oyegun should not feel uncomfortable that he's not there. Because Oyegun is one person, and I want to emphasize it here. When he was in office, after he has left office, when academics are doing things, whether our children are marrying, whether we're doing birthday, whether we're doing a burial, he must associate with us. He's a great man. He must associate with us wherever he is. I know he rushed here now because he wants to be part of this ceremony also. So I thank him especially for associating with us. And it's not because we academics are not politicians. We are not obedient. We are not APC. We are not PDP or so, any other party. So, and you see some, I also want to praise my governor for sending somebody here. That is why, so you see governor is only when party members are going to, that's when they show up. When you are not a party man, they don't show up there. And when you are fortunate to show up there, you regret it. My leader, my leader, my leader. That's the type of thing you see in those places. So what am I? Well, I'm not a leader, I'm not a follower. So where do I belong to? So I thank Chief Oyegun for being here. I thank all of you for being with me. I thank my Reverend Father, Mogiate for being here. Others have gone. The Reverend Fathers, they are all educated like us. They are part of us. They have doctorate degrees. They have doctorate degrees, and I don't know nowadays they don't parade it as the older generation used to parade it. As the chairman will remember those days, it's Reverend Father Dr. Onweme, later on Professor Onweme, Reverend Father Dr. Zemeke, later on Zemeke. But Zemeke also took a chieftaincy title from Milan. So it was a shift too also. But the Reverend Fathers of nowadays, I don't think they parade all such things. So I thank all my Reverend Fathers. Reverend Sisters have gone. I thank all of you for being with me today. Today is my happiest day. I decided to make it my own constituency and my friends. And they all showed up here today. I must say that I restricted this invitation largely to Edo State because of the present economic situation in this country. I didn't invite many people from Delta. I don't want you to say that when we are going from the kidnappers, from ceremony to kidnappers, so I was very careful. Few people from outside from Lagos and Abuja, very few. So some of them that they are not here, the event didn't take place, so they just happened. So I thank all of you. I appreciate all of you. I want to appreciate my wife. Yes, it's not. I want to thank my wife, but before I present my wife, let me. Before I talk, I was already sitting there here. Let me appreciate for the Onokerhoraye first. When he was presenting the day, I'm the one who wrote the book, but the way it's writing it's strange to me or something like that. The way he summarized, please sit down, something like that. So he did a good job. I know when he was, people was already, I said notice happened to Friday. I know him that he's going to recover or something like that. Here he is. So I thank him. And all of you still with us, Reverend Fathers who were there, I think I remember one or two Reverend Fathers who came in, actually worried, we'll be okay, we are praying. And so Reverend Sisters also came. Even some of my friend pastors also came to come and assure me that nothing will So she has to adjust to the idiosyncrasies. The whole concept of living the life of the mind, the extreme interpretation. Let me go a little bit. The interpretation was that a serious-minded person living the life of the mind, he doesn't have to cut his hair. Let it be flowing like a Wale Soyinka's here. He doesn't have to marry. Those are distractions. He doesn't have to raise children. He doesn't have to wear shoes like can wear slippers. He doesn't have to have a car. He may not even need a television in the house because all those are distractions. 100% life of the mind is like living the life of a mad person, basically. In Nigeria, here, or even in Africa in general, we cannot do that. They will say the person went to school to study how to be mad, and that is a mad person also. So I have certain challenges or idiosyncrasies which my wife has to cope with over the years. I also cope with her, not a one-way traffic. I accommodated her in so many things also. So it's not a way-way traffic that the man is bad, the woman is good. No. So I thank all of you again, all of you for being here. I appreciate. I don't want to go into individuals, but I'm seeing TOK out here and the wife staying to the last minute, and my prof there and the wife and so on. So I thank all of you. I thank His Royal Highness for staying with me also. I'm still strong, but I'm taking a break. And so I can wake up anytime I wake up. The only thing I see, aging, I don't know, Professor Kesu, I may know more about that. You go to bed, you are very good. To wake up in the morning, it's a war front or something like that. But I was good just now when I went to bed now, something like that. So those are some of the things that I have to cope with. So I go into my wife again, has to stay with me in the house. Because at times we just leave the husband and say, I'm going here, while the man is sitting in the house. I say, is this a sort of revenge or something like that? If I talk on, I will look as if probably time. So let me stop there and thank all of you for No. Let me appreciate my children in particular. 3 categories of them gave me 10 million each year today. Mike Guinea and his group, Shifari Gudi and my daughters. The connection between me and everybody, we are from the same extended family, and I did what I need to do for them, and they gave me this amount of money. I'm still going to the publisher, so now I don't think I'm Then Mike Guinea. When Mike Guinea and Shifoyegu said, this cameraman don't allow me to say Shifoyegu or something like that. They were the advocates of June 12th. And I saw her in the University of Benin or something. Some of the photographs are in the book. Your Excellency, have you got a copy of the book? Now you see that you see yourself there when Abiola came to the campus and so on. But Mike is my nephew. He will harass me, but he will come home to eat later in the evening. And so he has done well, and he has given me this support. My daughters, when I lost my 2 sons as Friday and examined, I was now left with my 5 daughters, 4 biological and 1 adopted. Christian, the mother is here also. My father didn't train his daughters. He didn't send his daughters to school. And he said, it's bad business training daughters. Because by the time you finish training them, the money you spend in training them in relation to the dowry their husband will pay, you will run short. My mother was one local chief in Roboland or something like that. So that is his philosophy. But I, his son, trained my daughters in the best schools in the world. And they have been taking care of me and their mother. What you saw today is an example of that. My father died over 50 years ago. If we were alive, I would tell him that I train my daughters, I make more profit than himself when he did train daughters also. So, once more, I thank my family. I thank all of you that stayed with me here. When you have something to do, call on me or I will be there to support you too. Friday, I'm happy. Madam, I'm happy that Friday is able to sit like this with me to see to the end of the 30th is Friday's day. So we are going to celebrate with you on this. Is it on 30th of April? Friday, 30th of April is Professor Onokerhoraye. When I say Friday, I mean, I always call him Friday. Professor Onokerhoraye is disengaging from the University of Benin, having attained the age of 70, and he will give his valedictory lecture on the 30th of April. That 30th, is it Thursday or Tuesday? So you are invited to join him to celebrate his engagement. Once more, I thank all of you. I don't feel like stopping when I look at all the people here, but I think I have to stop. Thank you very much. I'm not thanking Eddie. Eddie was not supposed to do this job he did today, but he was supposed to do it. Don't say I'm in contradiction, so I'm not in contradiction. He was not supposed to do it, he was supposed to do it. But because he has always been the anchor of all my programs since the time I was Vice Chancellor to now. But when I looked at him, I said, you have mentored enough. Let me use some of your boys or something like that, particularly when he was not very strong or so. But I told him that it's only one thing you will do for me. Help me read the citation on Professor Onokerhoraye. But now I took over the whole. I'm looking for the MC. The MC we contracted. He has a few explanations to give to me or something like that. You know you have explanations to give to me. So I thank Eddie and for everything. Okay, thank you.
So, thank you, Emeritus Prof. Let us take note of the fact that today is not actually Prof's birthday. It is a book we did presentation. So otherwise, we'd have asked him to give us a birthday dance. And so, without keeping our guests waiting, because the chairman, I'm sure that Prof, looking at you, you are so close. He did not even remember to say thank you so much for the long journey, your patience and everything. But we that are here, we thank you for your great monitoring. Because you were always coming to tell us this is the next thing to do. Thank you so much. Thank Madam for being with us as far as the program is concerned. And DJ, please, what we want to do now is that, you know, this is a company. Company is involved in this matter. Accountability is there. A performing group was put together. Where are they? Where are they? They don't go. Please, don't spare my hand. Okay, so Mike Igini. Hey, Maya. Please, just a minute, but we must end the program formally.
Once again, we really want to thank all of you for the honor that all of you have given to our father. We are indeed very grateful to Professor Kenzua, Your Excellency, the Governor of Edo State, and all the professors, University of Benin, former Vice Chancellor, current Vice Chancellors, and all friends who have traveled far and wide to be here, and particularly Professor Okonokerhoraye for all that you have done today and your wife. Indeed, we are very, very grateful. God bless you all and take on into your respective destinations. Thank you very much.
All right, we started with the prayer. We also want to end with a prayer. Permits me to respectfully bring to the microphone Very Reverend Father Dr. Charles Omogiate to give us the closing prayer.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very critical point in this program because it's by His grace that we have been here today. And His grace will continue to abide with us. Please, let's be patient. Hello? Hello? Please, we are calling on
gonna sing of the goodness of God. I'm gonna sing, I'm gonna sing. Oh gosh, and all my life you have been faithful. Oh, and all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Yeah. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running, it keeps running after me. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. I'm gonna sing, I'm gonna sing. Oh gosh, and all my life you have been faithful. Oh, and all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Yeah. It's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running. I love you, Lord. Oh, your mercy never fails me. And all my days I've been held in your hand. From the moment that I wake